What's going on, MMA fans? This is Intergalactic Brew. Here to do my UFC on Fox 6 Johnson versus Dodson. Wow. Really, am I getting ahead of myself there? Johnson versus Dodson, UFC on Fox predictions. Let me just say before I get into my predictions, I am really looking forward to this card. This is a pay-per-view like card that the UFC is putting on, and I really hope this delivers, especially the co-main event, because this could be really big for the UFC as far as them trying to build up their market on cable television. So I'm just saying, like, the UFC really needs to hit home with this one. And just from looking at the fights, I believe they will, or at least we can hope that they will. But at the same time, you know what? I'm going to be positive and say this card will deliver. I'm going to be positive and say this card will deliver. But yeah, though, let's waste no more time and let's get into these fights. I'm going to kind of go out of order here, because there's a lot of good fights to talk about. But I want to talk about Anthony Pettis and Donald Cerrone. I don't understand why this fight shouldn't have been the co-main event. No disrespect to Quentin and Glover, but you've got two of the most popular lightweights on the planet here. Both are well-rounded, both have been world champions, and both are hungry and looking to get into title contention really, really soon to get that lightweight title around their waist. And I have been waiting on this fight personally for a while, because I feel like these two match up so well. And it's just like, where one's weakness is, the other one's strength lies. And basically what I mean by that is you've got one guy who's very good standing up, and you've got another guy who's very good on the mat, but can also stand up too, and vice versa, with a guy that's very good standing up, but is also good on the ground. So this is a perfect matchup. But I think what it's going to come down to here, as far as who wins the fight, is who's going to be able to reveal the other's weakness, and who can impose their skill set best enough in this fight. I think that's what it's going to come down to, because Anthony Pettis has been tearing it up ever since he came over from WEC, I believe back in what was that, 2010, 2011, and so has Donald Cerrone as well. Now both of these guys have been in some of the most spectacular fights in the UFC already. You know, Anthony Pettis, when he first came to the UFC, he just came off of what I thought was the fight of the year that year with Benson Henderson. And of course, nobody's going to forget, I believe, what does he call it? The Showtime kick, where he does that that Matrix Ninja Turtle type move where he jumps off the cage and does a spinning roundhouse kick. And it's just awesome. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. But yeah, speeding up the process here, Anthony Pettis has been one of the best lightweights on the planet for a long time. And when he won the WEC title, that just basically cemented him as one of the best in the world at lightweight. So, fast forward that, he's been on an incredible win streak ever since he's come to the UFC. He's beaten the likes of Jeremy Stevens, Joe Lozon, who else has he fought? I think he lost to Clay Guida. Yeah, he did lose to Clay Guida. And I forget who's the last opponent he fought, but yeah, he's beaten some top-notch guys. And the same can be said for Cerrone as well. And both of these guys are hungry and really want to get that shot at Ben Henderson. And it's really ironic, like, both of these guys have fought Ben Henderson before. Wow. I guess this is coming full circle for these guys. But anyway, with that being said, I think for both guys, well, if I could get the words out, getting tongue-tied here, for both guys, I think both are going to be smart, and they're going to use their aggression to their advantage. So, I think as far as like Donald Cerrone goes, he's got the more polished skill set with the kickboxing and the jiu-jitsu, and I think if the fight goes to the mat with Donald Cerrone, I think he'll be able to expose Anthony Pettis there. But then again, Anthony Pettis has been good off of his back. But the exception to that is when he's faced people that can grapple better than him, he's lost. And the same thing with Donald Cerrone. When he's faced fighters that can strike better than him, he's lost. AKA Nick Diaz for Donald Cerrone, and AKA Clay Guida for Anthony Pettis. So yeah, man. We'll see. I mean, this is going to be a tough fight, man. I mean, if Anthony Pettis can find a way to keep this fight standing, you know, he could beat Donald Cerrone. I think he could. I don't know if he'll knock Cerrone out, but I know he could beat him. Probably might be able to, you know, outstrike him with points and just win the rounds. But I don't know, man. It's a tough fight. It's really a tough fight. And I've actually been going back and forth about who I was going to pick to win the fight. But, you know, when you really look at it, I got to go with the guy who's had more experience and is a little bit more seasoned. And that guy, in my opinion, is Donald Cerrone. So I'm going to go with the Cowboy here. I just think that, you know, his octagon experience, because he has been in the game a little bit longer than Pettis is. I think he's a little bit older than Pettis, too. So I'm going to go with Donald Cerrone here, but in no way am I erasing Anthony Pettis in this fight. No way that I am not giving him a chance in this fight, because I am. I definitely think that Anthony Pettis can knock out Donald Cerrone, or even submit him. You know, if he if he gets Cerrone, you know, to overcommit while on top, or if he could somehow get Cerrone's back and flatten him out, I think he could submit Cerrone. But I just think Cerrone is too smart, and like I said, I think he's too hungry. And, you know, I just think he's the better grappler than Pettis, and I think that's going to prove itself in this fight. So I'm going to go with Donald Cerrone by submission. You know, but then again, I don't know. Like, Anthony Pettis could come out like a house of fire and just completely, you know, explode on Cerrone, because Pettis is explosive, you know. But I don't know, man. Donald Cerrone's been there, done that. It's pretty much nothing that's going to be new under the sun to Cerrone. So I'm going to go with the Cowboy, but, you know, Pettis could end up taking him out. We'll see. Next fight. Let's see. Let's go with Eric Koch versus Ricardo Lamas. Now, I don't know too much about Ricardo. I know that he's got a jiu-jitsu background. He trains with a good team. And he's been on a pretty nice win streak as well. He's got a nice wrestling background too. So other than that, I really haven't seen too many of his fights. But I'm pretty sure that if he's fighting on the main card, he deserves to be here, and he will give Eric Koch all he can handle. Now, the interesting thing about Eric Koch, who I am familiar with, who's one of the best strikers, I believe, in the featherweight division. The only thing I'm really concerned about with him is, number one, his grappling, and number two, his condition, because he's been known to, you know, gas in a couple of fights that I've seen. So hopefully, this time off that he's had, I hope he's worked on his cardiovascular conditioning as well as his grappling, because I guarantee you Lamas is going to test it, and he's a brown belt. So yeah, I don't even think Lamas is going to even want to fool with the stand up. I think he's going to go straight for the takedown and you know, try to expose that grappling weakness that Koch has. But at the same time, Koch, he trains with a good team too. He trains over at Rufus Sport. I believe he's still with Rufus Sport. Yes, he is still with Rufus Sport, and they got a good team over there. You know, Alan Belcher trains over there frequently. I believe Matt Mitrione has been over there. Eric Red Schaefer. You know, Pat Barry was over there for a little while. So yeah, he doesn't train with a bad team. Actually, it's a very good team. So yeah, you know, we'll see if the fight hits the ground. You know, if he can get back up to his feet, and you know, we'll see how long he can last as far as conditioning is concerned. But you know what? I'll go ahead and give Koch the benefit of the doubt. You know, I believe when you have that much time off, I think you have no choice but to improve, especially if you were supposed to be the next guy in line to fight Aldo. So I think Koch is going to be motivated. I think he's probably changed some things, and I think we're going to see some new wrinkles from Eric Koch. No disrespect to Lamas, but you know, I think Eric Koch is going to force this fight to stay standing. And I think when he does that, I think he'll get a nice TKO out of it. So I'm going to pick Eric Koch by TKO. But then again, you know, he could let me down and, you know, gas, but hopefully that won't be the case. So made me look good, Eric. I'm having faith in you. And then getting down to the nitty-gritty of the night, the co-and main event. Co-main event, I'm going to talk about that first, of course. Quinn Rampage Jackson, Glover Teixeira. Now, this fight was supposed to happen sometime last year, but we all know Quentin is getting fed up and is tired of the UFC, tired of seeing people in the UFC, tired of reading stuff about the UFC. He's just tired of the UFC, period. And you know, he's going to want to look to take out all of this frustration on Glover Teixeira, but then again, that might be a mistake because Glover Teixeira is a pretty dangerous guy himself. And you know, this is a big opportunity for Teixeira. This is a golden opportunity. You know, beat a former light heavyweight champion like Quinn Rampage Jackson, one of the more popular light heavyweights in the UFC since Chuck Liddell, maybe. So yeah, this is a golden opportunity for Teixeira. Now, the only thing I say about Teixeira is, will he play it smart, or will he throw caution to the wind? You know, because in case he has not noticed, you know, Quentin does have a hard chin, so it's hard to knock him out. Now, on the ground, he might have some success there. And hopefully, for Quentin's sake, I really hope so. I'm praying, Lord, I hope that Quentin has been getting back to his offensive wrestling instead of his defensive wrestling. I mean, yeah, he's going to need his defensive wrestling, but I hope he got back to want to slam folks and dump folks on top of their head, because the fans have been calling for it. I've been calling for it, and I would like to see it for one last time, if this is in fact Quentin's last hurrah. As a diehard Rampage fan, you know, I just really want to see, like, you know, a little bit of old school flavor here. But, you know, who knows. But I think for Quentin, I think this is going to be mostly about what can he do, because I think people are already sure of what Teixeira is capable of. You know, he's got good striking, good grappling, you know. So I think everybody's aware of what Teixeira can do. I think everybody's just anticipating, you know, what Quentin's going to do, if he's really going to, you know, be amped for this fight. You know, if this fight really means a lot to him. And you know what? I think it is. I think Quentin is coming to this fight with a chip on his shoulder. You know, I think he's got something to prove to the UFC and everybody who's been doubting him. So I'm not going to underestimate that about him. And you know what? You know, I give Teixeira a chance to win this fight, but, you know, I just don't know, man. Like, this is going to be his first real big test against, you know, a proven veteran, a former world champion, a guy who's been on the stage like this. You know, a guy in Quentin who's going to be extremely calm, but fired up at the same time. And while I'm not doubting Teixeira, I just think the pressure of the moment might get to him. He might end up making a mistake that he shouldn't have made, and Quentin's going to capitalize on it. And, you know, he may end up knocking this guy out. And that's what I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Quentin by a TKO, because Glover Teixeira crumbled in the heat of the moment and didn't seize it. So, there you have it. Quentin Rampage Jackson makes a explosive, lasting impression in the UFC. And, you know, he gets on the microphone, tells Dana White to kiss his ass, howls one good time, and leaves the octagon, and that's the last you see of Quentin. And then moving on, finally, to the main event, Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, versus the Magician, John Dodson. Basically, this is going to be a 5-round fight. I think both fighters will have their moments. Demetrius is going to want to look to ground John Dodson. He's going to want to, you know, pepper him with jabs and combinations and leg kicks. Dodson is going to want to do the same thing standing. You know, this is just going to be an action-packed 5-round fight. That's what I believe. You know, I just see that happening. I just see it being an action-packed 5-round fight. You know, it's really going to come down to who's got the better conditioning. I mean, it would be nice to see a knockout or a submission, but knowing that these two guys are fast as hell, and, you know, they're so small and so quick, I can't really guarantee a finish. So I'm going to say it goes all 5 rounds. And I think because Demetrius Johnson will be the bigger fighter, and I think that he can find a way to cut the cage off with Dodson, I think that's going to give him the advantage in this fight. Now, Dodson can come out and surprise him on the feet and just knock him out, because he does have power in his hands. So, we'll see. But I'm going to go with Mighty Mouse here by decision to retain his title. And that's pretty much it, y'all. Y'all enjoy the fights. Let's hope it delivers. And I'll see y'all.